Manitoba largely escaped the terrible wildfire seen elsewhere in the country last year, but this year is a different matter. Officials gave a briefing on a fast-moving fire near Cranberry Portage. It's forced residents to flee, and the CBC's Cameron McIntosh is following developments from Winnipeg. So, Cam, what are officials saying about the fire, about the season so far?
Well, May 13th, and here we are in Manitoba fighting forest fires. That's early, and yes, as you mentioned, last year, Manitoba was largely spared from all the wildfires that we saw, particularly in Western Canada. But Manitoba right now fighting a fairly large fire, about 31,000 hectares, so a little more than 300 square kilometers. This fire is at Cranberry Portage, which is about 45 kilometers southeast of Flin Flon. Now, what fire officials are saying is that this is one of the driest areas of the province. On Thursday, there were lightning strikes in the area. It started some fires, which became this large fire. Over the course of the weekend, the fire just basically whipped itself up and started to grow. Here now is the director of the Manitoba Wildfire Service.
So this fire 10 was started on Thursday night. By the next day, it was already 35 hectares. And the next day, the following day, it exploded to 3,000 hectares. And then, of course, on Saturday was the day that it took off with the wind and grew to, we said 35,000 hectares. I've been working in wildfire for 40 years. I've never seen a fire move like this fire moved.
So that's Earl Simmons. He's the director of the Manitoba Wildfire Service. I anticipate we'll probably be hearing a lot more from him in the coming weeks here in this province. The good news with this fire right now is winds are favorable. So while it is large and while it is still burning, it's burning basically in one location. The fire for now isn't really moving or growing. So that's the positive in this. Some favorable winds. There is a little bit of rain in the forecast in that area, but not a lot coming up.
And so, Cam, what's the next course of action to deal with this fire?
Well, basically, they're trying to fight it on the spot. They've got about 50 firefighters in there right now from Manitoba. Another 50 are coming from Saskatchewan and Ontario. So basically, it's throw everything you have at it, but they say that this fire will probably take weeks to knock down. Now, keeping in mind, this isn't as large as the fires that we're seeing in BC right now, but this fire is apparently burning very deep and it's burning very hot. So that means that it could take weeks, so we could be into June before this fire is under control. That's provided conditions around it stay favorable and provided, of course, that we don't get more fires in that area or other parts of the province. Right now, Andrew, almost all of Manitoba is under some form of drought condition.
All right, Cam, thank you. That is the CBC's Cameron McIntosh live in Winnipeg.
Let's bring in Lori Forbes now. She's the Municipal Emergency Coordinator for the rural municipality of Kelsey, which the community of Cranberry Portage is a part of, and we've reached her in the PAW. Lori, thanks so much for making time for us today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate that. Thank you.
So what is the latest that you've been hearing about the fire around the community, or is it getting quite close to the community itself?
Okay, so Saturday was clearly the day of concern. Things changed very quickly on Saturday, late afternoon, early evening, and that was the cause for the emergency and immediate mandatory evacuation of the community. Things have been looked after very professionally and well by the Manitoba Wildfire Services, the Office of the Fire Commission, as well as the RCMP and Conservation. They've been deploying sprinklers in the community, ensuring that all structures of value and homes and all of those structures remain standing, and all of those sprinklers remain working well, and that has been successful. The fire itself is still a very dangerous fire, so our evacuation notice remains.
I imagine a lot of people have been asking you, as you know, one of the coordinators or one of the people that they could turn to, has there been damage inside the community yet? And do you have any information on that?
Well, currently there, as of this morning at 9 a.m., there's no report of any damage. There's damage to hydro. There's some damage to power lines. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the power is not on in Cranberry. Structures currently, the sprinkler systems are working. I have not had a report as of this morning that there's any damage to homes or structures within the PA. Now being cognizant that fires change quickly, I don't know what's going to happen tonight, obviously, but currently as of this morning, and I did have another meeting at noon that the sprinkler systems are doing their job. Fire crews are doing a great job. And so far, no structures have been damaged with our situation as of right now.
So, Lori, all of the people who evacuated over the weekend, where have they been going?
Wow, they're all over. We certainly want them to go to family and friends first. That's really a comfort and something where they can be there for a while without a concern. But we have folks in hotels in the PA. The PA is full. The hotels are full here. We've shipped them down to Swan River, Dauphin. There's some in Brandon. There's some folks that went over to Prince Albert. So hotels are pretty full all over. Some folks were able to go north before they couldn't get to Flin Flon and are in Thompson as well. So there's a variety of hotels, but the PA is definitely full of evacuees for sure.
You mentioned those power outages in Cranberry Portage, but does that extend beyond that? What are the conditions like?
We do the conditions in Baker's Lodge. They've had an evacuation there. I've understanding that they've opened the highway from Flin Flon to Baker's. That's the number 10, but just to Baker's, not through to Cranberry Portage and not into Cranberry Portage from the south as well. So I hesitate commenting on the conditions of the fires because my concern really truly is the people and the evacuees. We've got professionals working on that fire and doing an amazing job.
Yeah, how are the evacuees that you're communicating with? How are they holding up?
Well, I mean, there's lots of emotions, right? There's sadness. They were tired. It's very emotionally driven. Concerned, right? How long is this going to be? This is truly the question of the day. How long are we going to be evacuated? Well, the answer is we don't know until it's safe for citizens to go back to their community. That's our priority. So until Manitoba Wildfire Services, Office of the Fire Commission deem it safe, we will be on evacuation notice.
And how are you doing, Lori? Do you have everything that you need right now?
I have some wonderful support with the staff that we have from our emergency plan. The community has been stepping up with food, bringing food to our registration center here at the West Ghana Inn in the PA. It's been an amazing community to help support the people that just really need the support right now.
Okay, Lori, really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to speak with us. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
That's Lori Forbes, the Municipal Emergency Coordinator for Rural Municipality of Kelsey, which the community of Cranberry Portage is a part of.